Good morning. Calendar week 22. Mowing. The journey work of the stars. That's a quote from Walt Whitman, not my own. 1 kilometre of fencing separates the barracks from the outside world. Around a half of its steadily rotting larch palisade is strung between the original reinforced concrete posts, spaced 2.4 metres apart. The rest is a cheap metal, large wire mesh of the sort that is hastily erected to delineate a building site, supported by heavy concrete moulded feet. At just under 2 metres tall, I have seen it cleared by a startled young deer in a single panicked leap. The perimeter creates a more or less circular space of some 55,000 square metres, or 600,000 square feet. In the first few months of moving in, I beat the bounds as an almost daily ritual, learning and feeling the space. I still do this a few times a year. I always find a new gap to be repaired, but I walk it for the slow ceremony of unity between pirate and his island, rather than as inspection. Replacing the wooden sections, even as they deteriorate, is mostly beyond the current budget, and not very effective against the ingress of wild boar anyway. I mostly string a game-proof fence behind it, sealing it from the searching snouts of pigs, which are very welcome in the forest, but most unwanted where the vegetables grow, and where they are legally, and sensibly, not allowed to mix with Tony, Brunhilda and Marilyn. Around 1 hectare is under roads and buildings. 1 is swamp and lake, although the old planting episode of 5 or 6 years ago is slowly reclaiming a portion of that. The original hectare of forest is expanding slowly through 1.5 and heading towards 2. That leaves between 1 and 2 hectares, which could be said to be under direct interventionist control. The Sportplatz edged by Old House on one side, and the incised gullies of caterpillar tracks and armoured vehicles on 2 others, and the orchard over on the north side of Big House, are by far the most extensive areas. And with about 2,000 metres squared of the remainder being cultivated, it means that by far the biggest single biotope is grass. Grassland is only ever an intermediate in nature. Left alone, it's the first move towards land reclamation by forest. From pseudo-chaotic flower meadows to tramline-clipped show lawns, every patch of grass requires human intervention to hold the line against the plant world's apex predator, the tree. You can send in the grazing herbivores, sheep, cows and goats, or you can mow. I mow. Throughout spring, I mow for at least 2 hours on every dry day. I would do more, but that's the most the mower should be subjected to, and the least possible to stay on top of it. The lawnmower is low and sleek, accidentally streamlined, cowled with polished black plastic, details and decals in blue and red. The engine a pull-start, auto-choked Honda 4-stroke. It is adorned with 2 yellow stickers, courtesy of the German Standards Institute, and detail a wide selection of hazards and the normed standardized value of the loudness output of 95 decibels. The white noise of lawn mowing, the repetitive up and down, diagonal stripes, endless concentric circles, the engine buzzes, time passes. No longer a weekend chore for unwilling teenagers. Released by meditative repetition, the mind empties. Eventually, an ordered chromatic boundary emerges, contrasting even expanse of lime-green lawn, undercutting dark malachite conifers, almost not quite touching. A quiet triumph of clean contrast and fleeting perfection. It is a solitary undertaking, but never a lonely one. Woodpeckers chilling in the ground spring up like startled missiles, flying fast and low. Pied wagtails dart in and out, snatching insects from the most freshly mown clippings, and blackbirds and thrushes come the closest, inquisitive and chatty. Every scything of the blades is an act of photosynthetic theft. Sunshine is turned into biomass, capturing carbon and concentrating it at and below ground level. The energy of the sun and the carbons of the air sucked into the mower and heaped into piles. There is no more effective ledger in my carbon budget than the power of harvesting grass and turning it through intermediates into rich, nurturing soil. Pigs eat it and trample it into the ground. Compost piles grow by cubic meters. and heavy mulches feed the invertebrate hosts of the vegetable patch, or microsteps to a better world. I mow because it creates beauty, because it is necessary, and because it feels the soil in multiple ways. Mostly I mow because it works. Your loving Pirate Ben. XO. XO.